Guys, people are absolutely furious at Fortnite right now, and over the last couple of hours, it has gotten really bad in the Fortnite community, and Chapter 6's end event is really not looking good right now. So if you guys don't know, Fortnite finally acknowledged the end event for Chapter 6, but the way they framed it has everyone even more confused than before. The official in-game newsfeed is live saying that we're having an event. The event actually has a name now, which is pretty sick, and they're literally calling it, get this you guys, a mini event, unfortunately, which is the exact wording in the menu. That's not me paraphrasing or anything like that. That's exactly what they said in the promotional material for this event. Unfortunately, the community sentiment right now is basically, we've waited for weeks, gotten so hyped for this, expecting a full-scale event, and now it's going to be a mini event. You know, some people are feeling like their expectations just got flipped overnight, and a lot of people are actually attacking leakers right now for what they said about this event. So today, I'm going to run through the official announcement, a quick in-game recap of what's going on, why people are so mad about the mini event label, and where the leakers stand after doubling down, saying, guys, calm down, this is okay, this is still going to be a good event. There's also been some more talk about the marketing in terms of this event as well, and why exactly they're kind of just shoving it to the side like they don't really care. Now, over the last couple of days, about the last 2 or 3 days or so, we've been following a really interesting development in the Fortnite community. At first, a lot of people were starting to get worried about the end event in terms of it not having much promotion. And then when Fortnite did finally start promoting it, they put in the in-game timer. There was a purple glow around the tree, and I'll recap everything that's going on here in a second. People were like, what the heck? This feels really wrong. What are they doing? Like, why does it feel like it's not a big event? And then, of course, today, now people are even more furious because there was an official announcement that was put on the newsfeed. They said, not even Bart's treehouse can contain what awaits. Kick back on the couch, grab a donut, and welcome Kang and Kodos on November 1st at 11 a.m. ET. They said, don't change the channel. More of The Simpsons is coming soon. Of course, teasing The Simpsons mini event that we will be having from November to the beginning of December. Of course, here there are some teas to maybe some Fortnite original storyline stuff with not even Bart's treehouse can contain what awaits. Maybe that's talking about, you know, what's going to come out of the TV, maybe the Dark Presence or something like that. And like I said, they're teasing the Simpsons mini season as well. But other than that, there's really not much hinting towards, you know, the actual storyline that we were expecting in this event. Now, the event title they're using is Welcome Our Alien Overlords. Now, that's kind of a weird title in my opinion. Of course, a lot of people were expecting it to be something about, you know, the Spirit Realm, like we were calling it the Spirit Realm Siege. And right under it, you guys, Fortnite labels it as a mini event November 1st, 11 a.m. Eastern time. That mini event phrasing is official wording. It's not like the community saying that. It's not, like I said, it's not me paraphrasing. That's exactly what they said. And the community immediately absolutely exploded when this came out. And I'm not joking at all. Of course, visually right here, we see it's pure Simpsons branding. We've got the blue sky, the clouds, the Simpsons X Fortnite card. No Dark Presence or anything like that. No Spirit Realm, nothing. They actually just have our first look at the Bart skin coming up here, and he's coming up and changing the Fortnite to Fartnite, which is something, a word that we will get into later on in the video that a lot of people are worried about as well. Now, the first reaction I had was that it's funny, I guess it's clean, but if you're a story person, it feels like kind of weirdly disconnected from a chapter ending moment. And I know there's been some people in my comments saying, but Prozero, this isn't the Chapter 6 ending. Mini Season 2 is a part of Chapter 6. We're going to a new map. I'm not really counting this as a part of Chapter 6 because it's really just not. We are leaving this map. Now, just to quickly run through what is going on in game right now, the treehouse is fully built and it now has a purple energy running through it with sparkles and electrified audio. There's some like reality, like anomaly, like video effects. They're active around the base. There's OXR equipment set up on the site with a holographic countdown as well. The timer reads, of course, to the date November 1st at 11 a.m. Eastern time, matching Fortnite's post, of course. A lot of people are mad that you really can't see this countdown from the bus. There's no like beam or anything like that. There's still no lobby timer UI or any sign that, you know, there's going to be a playlist added into the game anytime soon for this event to promote it. And that's the state of the island, exactly where we left it last video, just a little bit more active and with people much more angry than they were 24 hours ago. So why exactly did the word or the phrase, I guess, mini event kind of detonate the community? Why are so many people freaking out that this is a mini event? Now, the expectation for weeks from quests, from community hype, from leakers was that we were going to be getting a full-scale, story-driven live event. Our first big one since Collision back in Chapter 3. People were really primed for the, like, Spirit Realm Siege energy. There was all types of concepts. You know, people are getting excited. Leakers have consistently framed this as a big, keep that in mind, a fully fully story-driven event, like a big event with the Dark Presence, 0-point shard retrieval, and not a throwaway kind of like crossover transitional thing. That's why the mini event tag blindsided a lot of people and why they're really upset. The community sentiment right now, people are wondering, are we getting a Simpsons-centric mini event instead of like a chapter finale? Or why is the name Welcome Our Alien Overlords and not something Spirit Realm related or storyline related? Is this going to be too Simpsons heavy is what a lot of people are asking as well. Something that really does concern me personally is that this is supposed to be a story-driven live event, and up until this point, there's been no teasing for the actual Fortnite storyline besides, we saw Hope and Jonesy inside of, the Simpsons realm, and even then, that is still a collab. Another thing that's really weird, you guys, is we've talked about this many times before, but this event is supposedly bigger than an actual, bigger event that we've had before. As you guys know, they're calling it a mini event, but the Spirit Realm Siege, or I guess the Welcome Our Alien Overlords event, is actually bigger in size than the Death Star Sabotage. It's smaller files, but the files themselves are heavier, if that makes any sense. Now, a lot of people have been saying, just because it's bigger in size doesn't mean there's more happening. This one only has around 4,100 files, and the Death Star Sabotage had 7,800. So maybe it just means that there's more high quality images, more meshes, things like that. We're not really exactly sure. Meanwhile, a chunk of the leaker community is still telling everyone, don't worry, pointing out the OXR branding on the countdown, this chapter's dialogue about entering the Spirit Realm to confront the Dark Presence and retrieve the shard as proof that it is still story first, even if the marketing really doesn't align with that. The effect from that, you guys, has been expectations whiplashed and a lot of confusion. People feel like the label and the branding scream a mini Simpsons thing, while the files and the setup still whisper that it is a story-driven big event. So a lot of people are just very, very confused. Even Hypex himself, if you guys don't remember, he said that this event was going to have something that story fans have been waiting for. He literally doubled down on that and said, even though they're marketing this weird, my stuff that I said last time still stands, so who knows? Now, if you guys have been following this storyline, and if you haven't, go back and watch my first video I made on this and you'll understand exactly what the community is feeling right now. The longer that Epic Games stayed quiet, it seemed like the spicier the conversation got, or the more toxic it got, really. A lot of people are starting to call this the worst story event build-up they've ever seen. Some even saying that the marketing team for Fortnite needs to be fired or disbanded or dismantled. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. These people absolutely know what they're doing. I mean, they work for this company. Of course, it's just very unusual for Fortnite. Tiny on-map timer, no lobby countdown, no cinematic teaser, and Simpsons first messaging. But I don't think it's really that big of a deal, to say that people need to lose their jobs or be fired. And I've done stuff like that before and I've been angry, so I completely understand, but that's not something that needs to happen in this instance. Now, a big theory, and this is kind of like an overarching, kind of conspiracy theory, is that maybe Fortnite is kind of not marketing this event because it's a story event because they want it to do bad. In Fortnite's head, maybe they think, oh, if this event ends up doing bad, then we have a reason to not do story-driven live events anymore and only have collab-focused live events. To be honest, I think this is kind of a cynical take, but it's out there and it's actually gaining traction. A lot of people are starting to think that Fortnite is doing this, kind of like sabotaging it on purpose so that they have a reason not to do story-driven live events. Now, this is something that I saw online in the context of Bart coming up and changing the Fortnite name to Fartnite. Now, mini season 2 Fartnite naming, and in terms of how connected this mini season actually is, has been gaining a lot of traction. Now, there's a circulating note from the newsfeed. In case you guys don't know, this teaser that you're seeing right here is actually called Chapter 6 Mini Season 2 Fartnite Trailer, which has people actually worried that this name could literally be Mini Season 2, like Chapter 6 Mini Season 2 Fartnite. Like, every season has something like that. A lot of people are thinking this may be called Fortnite. Now, the community reaction is kind of half that is hilarious and half please don't make this whole thing a gag. I think that's actually crazy. I'm really surprised that Fortnite would put their game in that sort of tone. But the real question players are asking too is how connected is this mini season going to be to the main Fortnite story if they're doing something silly like calling it Fartnite? If the season branding is mostly Simpsons jokes, will the Dark Presence / Spirit Realm actually advance meaningfully? Is that story arc actually going to continue? That tension, the tone of the branding versus kind of the high stakes of the lore and what we're expecting, is what's making dedicated story fans and a lot of people very, very nervous. Now, of course, you guys, this could all mean nothing. You know, when this event actually happens, it could be really big, it could be awesome, and then all of this discourse was absolutely for nothing. Everybody got frustrated and, you know, thought that this may have been overhyped for no reason. The mini event label could be marketing language for a shorter runtime that still carries major story beats. As you guys know, this event is probably going to only run from about 15 to 30 minutes, and then after that, we're going to go into downtime, and around 5 p.m. Eastern time is when we're going into the actual new season. We talked about this in my last video. A lot of people have pointed out that there's been no major plot leaks. For Fortnite, that's really rare. If anything, that kind of supports the idea that they're intentionally hiding the big swings for this event. Maybe that means that there is going to be some crazy stuff going on in this event, and maybe them only marketing it as, like, you know, a Simpsons thing could just be to throw us off course or something like that. So overall, you guys, it definitely does feel off, but it could definitely be by design. You know, keep the Simpsons umbrella up front, you know, don't spoil the spirit realm stuff going on, and let the story like surprise people in the moment. That's something that's been kind of lost in modern Fortnite. So if they are doing that, it could be kind of genius. So if you guys want just a brief overview of exactly what all of the worries are, I'm going to list them out here. So first off, the mini event label could mean no big story. The title, Welcome Our Alien Overlord, sounds Simpsons first, not Spirit Realm. The marketing feels underwhelming and kind of not really aligned with a chapter ending event. The timer visibility along with no lobby countdown makes it feel unimportant to people. And the mini season 2 Fortnite rumor has players worried about the tone and the story connection as well. Like I said, you guys, we've been following a very specific storyline with how the community has been reacting. Go back and watch my People Are Worried About This video for the first wave of community concern, and then the end event feels wrong from yesterday for why this rollout just doesn't feel normal. Also, you guys, OG got its big Fortnitemares update and literally nobody knew about it. So go watch my video if you'd like to know what's going on in OG right now. But what do you guys think? Do you think we're overreacting to all of this, or do you think Epic is kind of fumbling the message? Let me know if you are worried down below. Drop a like on today's video if you enjoyed. You watched all the way to the end. You must have enjoyed, so drop a like. Subscribe to the channel. I make videos like these every single day. Use code PROZEROYT, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.